lagging behind. I've got the hiccups, which isn't exactly helping either, but I will try to soldier on. 10th place, Sauber. 2 points scored. A very, very, very important 2 points scored by Felipe Nasr at the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Basically saved their entire season, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, they for average results, they're definitely stronger than Manor was, so I think that the 10th was probably deserved in the grand scheme of things. A lot more mechanical retirements, though, for what it's worth. Yeah. And shout out also to their race at Monaco, where they took each other out in a hilarious Rascasse-related incident, where arguably the funniest moment of the entire F1 season, just seeing Ericsson dive bomb the shit out of Felipe Nasr and taking them both out of the race. If any of that happened up the front more often, hey Hamilton. That was also kind of a hilarious moment in its own right. But Sauber is a difficult case because this is like the joint worst Sauber season, I think, ever. I think they were 10th in 2014 as well, but that year they didn't even score any points, so I guess technically this is a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit better because I'm pretty sure weren't there 12 teams in 2014?
There was, and I think Caterham finished behind them as well, so they were like 11 out of 12.
Yeah, they were just ahead of Caterham and Marussia, as it would have been.
So yeah, it wasn't quite as bad this time around, but still pretty bad. But I must admit, there is one small gem to come out of this season for me, and it wasn't the fact that Nasr scored those 2 points. For me, I actually thought that Marcus Ericcson showed quite a fair bit of improvement this season, and I felt like, oh, hang on, Marcus Ericcson actually isn't all that bad.
Yeah, because we all predicted him to kind of take over as the F1 whipping boy after Maldonado departed, but that kind of didn't happen. In the end,
Indeed.
No one really was. The closest was probably Palmer. We'll get to him in a bit. Like, my notes for Sauber kind of says the season would have ended up kind of being a total bust had it not been for Nasr, but they did improve as the year went on. It felt like the start of the year, I predicted them to finish bottom in the Constructors, and I was almost right. But when they started the year, because it just felt to me like they were treading water whilst everyone else had stepped up. Like, Haas had come in, Renault had transformed Lotus and given them fresh injection, although we'll get to them in a minute. So for me, they really looked like they were in trouble at the start of the year, but they kind of stabilised around the mid-season and started to pick up near the end. So by the end of the year, on paper, it looked like they got lucky with that Brazil 2 points, and it didn't reflect. But if you look at how the results were going, it was almost coming.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Marcus Ericsson had, he had a 12th in Bahrain, a 12th in Catalonia. He finished 12th at Malaysia, 11th at Mexico, and then he was knocking on the door. He was knocking on the door on several occasions this year, while Nasr took all the credit for the 9th placed finish in Brazil on his home Grand Prix. And then so I was like, oh my god, we got points, Nasr, you hero, when really Ericsson probably had the better season. Out-qualified Nasr as well, for what it's worth, throughout the year. And again, like in the championship, it looks like Nasr's on top, but really I would rate Ericsson's season a fair bit better than Nasr, who knows, could still fall up into a Williams seat by the time next season rolls around, because he's in and around that space. F1 is a cruel and unpredictable bastard sometimes. But, I mean, King, it just seemed like there's not much to really talk about with Sauber, because it just seems like it's just like a beacon of misery, this team right now. It's like there's hardly...
Well, to me, it's kind of weird how, because for most of the year it was like that, but now those 2 points seem to transfer it. They suddenly seem to be in a much better position. They've got more of a confirmed driver lineup for next year than Manor, seemingly.
They have Ericsson knocked down, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got Wehrlein supposedly on the edge of it, but as we know, the whole Mercedes situation has blown that completely out. Just no one knows who's going where now. But for me, it kind of felt like the mood was changing near the end of the year, and now it's kind of like Sauber are kind of on the up, like the little arrow's just on the up now. The feeling is better, whereas Manor are sort of, we were nearly okay with treading water all year, now we're not. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just difficult to see how much if Sauber can improve and they did well this year, how are they going to kick on and try and do that again next year? Because people aren't going to stand still.
Absolutely. And again, I said, it's one of those things where, like, it seems that I don't think Sauber were necessarily that bad. I just feel like the rest of the field probably just got that little bit better than them. With teams like McLaren making big strides forward this year, Lotus becoming Renault had a few more points finishes for the season than they did in the end. But like I said, the Marcus Ericcson was a nice little underrated gem for the year, and it's almost a shame that he's going to be with that team next year, because I'd like to see him in a slightly better team to see if he could actually score some points and see a bit more visibility, because he's never going to show his true self in a team that is so bad right now. So ratings for the team, anyone?
I'm going to go, this might sound a bit harsh, but I'm going to go with a point added on near the end of the season, 4.5.
Yeah, I want to go 4.5 too.
Yeah.
I actually rated them below Mana because I think Mana had the more consistent season overall.
Yeah, I think Mana actually showed signs of progress, where Sauber, I think, actually regressed a little bit.
Andrew Kissinger, I'm sorry.
True. I'm gonna, I think 4's about right. I was gonna go 4. I'm a little bit on the harsher side of that, but I think 4's is seemingly about right for me on this one.